You're listening to Hella Black, Hella Seattle, a podcast creating community for people of color in Seattle. I'm Eula, leading the interviews.
I'm Elena, bringing you food reviews.
And I'm Jazz, adding to your weekend plans.
And we're all born and raised Seattle ladies. Hey!
Plus a singer, which is an MC.
Yeah, right. Too good. And how'd you become an educator? You know, I mean, for you to be so young, at 25 years old, I mean, was I in college still? Because I went to college around and about again, and then again, and then I went again, and then I was like, I'll graduate if I get some help. But I say that only because you are such a young person to be a teacher. And then on top of that, you're a black man who's a teacher in a black space at like Rainier Beach. Yeah. And
anomalous.
Yeah, and so where'd you end up going for college? I should know that.
Oh yeah, so that's a part of my story. So can I tell my education story?
Yes.
It's interesting because like that's why I'm in education, because I feel like I've had experiences that I don't think black folk have had. I did not have a white kid in my class till I was in like 7th, 8th grade.
Whoa.
So I went to black caretakers, obviously aunties, you know what I'm saying, preschool, run by black women. I went to a school called Zion Preparatory Academy. Zion Prep. You're hard pressed to find anybody between 20 and 38 that didn't spend at least 1 year.
Oh, I went to Zion. I got the yearbook and everything, and I can find all y'all in it.
Sweater,
Wait,
the gray pants.
I went
I can find all y'all in it.
Yeah, no, because when I bring out this yearbook, I can literally find all y'all niggas in it. And I only went for kindergarten, actually.
So I wasn't even at Montland. Montland.
Yeah, I went there
Montland
very young, but I still have it. And I find Gil,
All them niggas.
Miguel, all the niggas is in it.
I confused Zion and African American.
AAA?
African American was on the hill. Zion was on Alaska.
But exactly, it's these black, and neither of them exist. Neither of them exist right now. But they're like these spaces that were created for black education.
Right,
you know
and we had Porter's mother,
Porter Ray's mom,
Deborah Sullivan.
Deborah Sullivan on, and she talked about how when AAA was being let go of, they offered to go in and take over, and they wouldn't let them.
And so now they're doing.
The city was like, no, we can't let you niggas have nothing. Now she's having her own school. Her school got permission. Thank you. Oh my God, to all of our listeners. Dr. Deborah Sullivan's school is opening, and Ashe Prep is going to be happening, and so we are so grateful we had her on beforehand. So it's nice to know that has come full circle.
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying. My nephew went to Zion. Tyree, he's not little anymore.
Yeah. So I went from Zion to Aki Kurosi, which has always been predominantly black, Southeast Asian, Latino. Like I said, I didn't have a white kid in my class, so I was like 7th grade.
Yeah.
And then for high school,
that's like
beautiful.
Amazing.
I was rooted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was getting a different kind of education at Zion.
Yeah.
You know?
Can I just interject just for a quick second? Just because I feel like other people could look at this and be like, wait, why is that beautiful? What do you mean? Like, whatever. But, like, white people have grown up in spaces where they are the majority.
Right.
Constantly. And so it's always just such an interesting thought to wonder how they would feel if the roles were flipped.
Reversed,
because they don't have to deal with that. They don't have to encounter that like ever really in Seattle, right? And you can avoid those spaces, but like black people cannot avoid that spaces. Right. Most times when I go somewhere, I'm the only black person there. Yes. So to be taught in a space where your race is the majority, like that's beautiful because you have a different feeling about yourself, about your culture, about your place in life, really.
And a part of that too is, you know, we have to be honest about what racism does to folks. Right. And to be in a space where you did not exist with overt racism. You know, I'm not saying that the system wasn't still racist, right? Because I'm sure some of the books probably still had that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I wasn't.
So, you know, the way the time clock in the system works, I'm sure of it. But my point is to not have the overt racism of a person who cannot see you as human on a daily basis being your overlord. Because that's my whole. This is why I've given myself said doctorate in wifeness, because I'm like, I've studied y'all since before I knew what studying was.
What? Right.
And I knew you better than I knew myself.
Right.
I mean, I didn't know how to do my own hair until I was in my late 20s.
Right.
Right? Because of whiteness.
Right.
So if you want to call me doctor, go for it. Dr. Rell. Oh,
Tell
sorry.
us more about your story.
Nah, tell it real. So I went from Zion Prep to Aki Karosi, from Aki Karosi to O'Day, all boys, Catholic, predominantly white.
Yeah.
What
high
year were
school.
you there?
I was at O'Day 2006 to 2010.
I wonder if you know my
Yeah,
brother.
he knows your brother. William Jackson.
He's the assistant principal at Nathan Hill.
Will Jack.
Yeah, that's my brother.
Yeah.
And now he sees his
Seattle's
face.
small.
It's
Yeah,
so
Seattle's
small. Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's dope.
super
And he went to
small.
O'Day.
Yeah.
And so O'Day was a whole nother beast because like I'm literally like flipping the switching.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what you said is hella true. And that's the thing. Like think about like white folk. Think about like that one white kid that hung
Right.
out with your whole group.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Their life was low key defined by the fact that they were the token.
Exactly.
Or
Yes.
like you know what I'm saying? They may have like really they into hip hop.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But like and it's similar for us. Think
from
about
what-
the black kid that's always used to being the only in class.
Black.
Then their life is a lot of times defined by their tokenism. You know?
Right.
And so like going to O'Day and then transitioning from being, you know, in the South End on the 7, you know what I'm saying, in my neighborhood, not too far from my house, surrounded by youngins like me, we going hoop after, you know, young niggas smoking, cats getting hit in the back. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's the hood, you know what I'm saying, in South End.
It's also the same they did at Hamilton. So
And then going to O'Day and then being surrounded by like this privilege that I'd never been surrounded by. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in a 2-parent home.
Yeah.
In the same, my mom and dad lived in the same house.
Yeah.
And I grew up in, and so like, relatively speaking, I definitely had a middle class privilege that's different than a lot of my peers. You know, but then going to O'Day is a whole different ball game where I'm like one of a very few black kids in the class, and now I'm being even more targeted as argumentative because I defend myself, and I can't even imagine like I think about like our black girls at beach, and I think like how much the young men can get away with that black girls can't,
Right.
and like I've always been told like defend yourself, you know what I'm saying, and anybody know me, I got mouth on me, you know what I'm saying, like I don't tolerate that much shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't stand in the face of injustice.
Yeah, and it's not even like yeah, I don't let that kind of stuff. Like nah, it's just like that's wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I
ain't silent
disagree.
in the face of
Yeah.
You know,
injustice.
and so going through O'Day, and even just now, especially reflecting on O'Day and being an all-boys school, and just really thinking about like the empowerment of patriarchy,
Right.
and just how I do not recall any conversations about sexism or or how you should interact with women in a respectful, humanizing, elevating way.
Yeah.
And knowing that even as a black man that had his dad in his life, that had uncles, we still grow up in matriarch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No matter, like, even if we got a pops in our life,
Yes.
black
Mom's
people,
running.
period, it's majority
Your mom is your
black
culture.
women, you
Yeah,
know?
she
and,
can't help it.
and then it's auntie, then it's big sister, and then it's homegirl around the corner.
nurturers.
Yeah, and you know, and so I reflect back on my days at O'Day, and I'm like, wow, like, you know, and I was blessed to be able to go from, you know, basically that First Hill area, and I remember literally watching. I would hop on the 60, hop on the 36, and I would just watch the neighborhood change.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would watch the people change.
It goes from sidewalks to dirt roads.
yeah.
You know, to trash on the street,
Right.
to, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying, no room on the bus, or nobody wants to sit next to me on the bus, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To Asian person,
Move
like,
over.
too close.
Crawl
You know what I'm saying?
over
like,
you.
Like, this is what I'm used to, like, get in my lap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where them grocery bags at? Put them right here. You know, why don't you want to sit down?
Your little
Like,
rolly bag because you
Yeah.
can't carry it.
Look at
You
Dickie
got it.
Hill, that's
Yeah.
36 all the way.
That's beautiful.
So I went from O'Day, private, all boys, Catholic, I'm not Catholic,
Yeah.
to Seattle Pacific University. And the reason why I'm young and in my lane is because I knocked it out. Like I knew from like when I submitted my application, I was like, sociology, business administration, double major.
We're in, we're
Yeah.
out.
And
Yes.
I'm not moving on campus.
I'm getting that I had to live on campus
For 1
freshman
year.
Had an apartment second, and then I went out the country.
So how did you go into college so prepared for college? Because I feel like none of us are prepared for college.
Right. Private high school, yo. And
Right.
I got to give credit to that. I got to give kudos to that. And
Those white men, they know.
One thing. It's two-parent home.
Mm-hmm.
I have to
Absolutely.
say that.
Absolutely.
My pops being around.
Yep.
Both my mom and dad, they were the first to complete college degrees on their side.
That's
So
beautiful.
I'm second generation of that.
That's
you know what I'm
beautiful.
saying?
Because they know the language.
And even though even though I could tell you when I started thinking about college, and that was when I was like, how am I getting to the NBA?
Right.
Oh, I guess I got to go to college.
Right.
And I remember being like, oh, okay, I guess this is like how you do it, you know. And even though I was probably born, you know, some people would say, oh, with a silver spoon in your mouth. And you got, you know, like, you're definitely going to be going to college. Like,
Do black people ever get silver spoons?
You still got to make a decision.
And you have to
can
decide
still
to
fail.
go through with
Still
it.
gotta make it.
Yeah,
I still gotta make it home.
I still got to
Exactly.
make it home. I still got to, like, every day.
Do
you
my
know?
work.
Yeah, I
Also,
still
real,
gotta, you know,
a
and-
two-parent home with two educated parents is not a silver spoon. It's just what we should all.
A two-parent home.
And can I
it's
get
just
credit
a-
for
It's
doing my
actually,
homework?
but how, but it's
Can I be
also,
smart?
but it's also expectations
Yeah.
put upon you,
Yeah.
which you can take however which way. But it's funny because it echoes a lot of how I feel about my experience too. Whereas, like, yes, I'm still black. Like, I still face all of these things, but I do understand the privilege that I've had as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I agree. I went to college and I was like, I'm gonna do this little summer course. I'm out of here in 4 years. I'm not fucking with this shit no more.
Yeah.
So you do
We got to
feel like
balance.
private high school set you up better than...
And I think the way that I'll put it, I don't think that there's one thing I can attribute it to. Because there's some other, I think that when it comes to school, this is honestly why I work in education now, is because I was afforded different privileges growing up that a lot of young folk that, you know, we went different ways growing up didn't have. And I'm working with young people that are like my homies, you know what I'm saying? Less black kids that have the opportunity to go to private school for high school. That's not who I rock with, because I have an access that I want to be able to pass that platform off and that wisdom. But what I will say though is that school is a mentality, yo. It's a I think it's a skill. You cannot be smart, or you cannot be like good at math and all this stuff and still like know how to finagle the system.
Absolutely.
Like,
How do you think I graduated?
Come on now, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be real. Like, I took chemistry honors.
Yeah.
Right.
I cheated on the AP test.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying shit like that on the
But it ain't like that
yeah,
for
like
you.
bro, like I definitely like.
No,
I'm
but
not
also
saying
it
that's
is
how
a
you get by.
But it's also a system that
But
people
it is a
rigged.
system that all people play, right?
And it's rigged.
And it's racism. There's racism built
It's rigged
into
towards
it.
whiteness.
It's
And their culture.
Exactly.
I remember I
And
had a
so
teacher-
if this group of people is playing it one way, hell, why not play it the other way?
Right.
Or whatever way works
It's
for
finesse.
you.
It's finesse.
It's
yo.
all things are finesse, really,
Yeah.
at the end of the day. Too.
Bible verses. All things are finesse. I love that.
I'm really good at
Verse
tests
2.
and I'm not good at work. And I didn't do homework once in high school. I can actually tell people. I mean, I feel like I never tell people that part because I was just like I'm not a good student. But I mean it like I just never did. I didn't do homework once in high school. I did group projects only if I was required, and I made sure to be there on test day because I can ace the test if I bullshit and sit in class every day for like if we're gonna talk about some shit every day for 3 months, I can take a test on this shit. I'm not gonna do no. I know my house up, like, and I know I'm never gonna go home and open a book. But yeah, and then I talked. I think I might have told the story before, but I had a teacher, Miss Anita Morales, who told me in the 6th grade, she was like, these standardized tests are rigged. She said, I can remember being a young adult, and when I took a test, it had, a multiple choice, and it was a cup, a blank is to a blank the way a cup is to a blank. Like a hand is to a glove the way a cup is to a, and the answer was saucer. And her thing was, I had never seen a saucer before in my life when I took this test. She said I was raised as a Mexican immigrant. I mean, Mexican American. I raised as an immigrant. I was a field worker. I would go to school when I could. We were not raised in the culture that had cups and saucers. And that was the first time and I was in the 6th grade going, well, bitch, if all I got to know is white culture, I got a PhD in that.
I mean, and so that was
You
part
didn't
of
have
my
a PhD
motivation.
then.
I think
No,
I did already.
but
I went
that's the
to all
beginning.
white elementary.
That's the
Yeah.
prereqs, and this is what I'm saying. Like when I always
that
believe
shit.
that like your enemy will give you, they'll show you where the weakness is if you pay attention. Like at the end of the day, we can honestly say, we know white people better than they know us.
Absolutely.
And that's because we live in a culture that is dominated by
They
them.
gave you
and
that.
that's not to say like, actually, to an extent, hell yeah. I think that's some shit we need to leverage.
Yeah.
Right.
And be
So
like,
we've been given
so
a chance
we
to
know,
study them.
you know, because I mean,
Yes.
we talk about this. They study us on a statistical level. We were talking about this earlier, talking about money.
Yeah.
How is it that the Koreans spend money in the Korean community?
Right.
Mexicans, they spend money in the Mexican
Yeah.
community. White folk, obviously, their
Obviously.
dollars are, cyclical.
Yeah.
The black community, our dollars are not cyclical. I
Right.
mean that there's obviously so many reasons, economic, monetary, there's so many different
And the
levels
feeling
of
of
why
wanting to
that
prove
is.
yourself. I mean, I think the thing with black folks is to be great was to be white, right? Like
Right.
to be closer to whiteness was always the way to win.
Right.
So if you are,
Integration did that.
yeah, but also
Right.
if you have the car that the white man drives and you are great,
Right.
like you walking, busting ain't cool.
Mm.
If you have but then it went all the way down into like the toilet paper, right? Like if you have the toilet paper that the white man uses at his house, that's a good look. When I come over to your bathroom, Rell, I might be looking to see if you got 1 or 2 ply. I mean, I might be something I'd be looking
Oh,
for.
I got 2 ply.
Yeah,
It might be 3 ply.
I have family that
Like,
lives
there
by
better
1
be
ply
some
though.
tissue
I
there.
got family that lives by 1 ply. My grandmother lived by 1 ply. She had strong theories behind it. She had strong theories behind it.
Very double up, man.
I know.
What the hell are
Yeah,
these
say, I'm-
theories?
I think the theory was just that you don't need to be spending no money on some paper that goes down the
about
toilet.
tissue paper today.
Right.
And you're not going to be
That
spending
too,
that much time
RBF.
with it, no. Ideally.
Yeah,
But you
brothers,
use
make sure
twice
you
as
wipe
much.
it.
Right.
I think,
Possibly.
but my grandmother.
But if you never
is
had
also
none,
born
then
in, like,
you ain't
19
using twice as much.
Yeah, and
Also
she's born in
depends
like
on, might depend on your
1908.
diet. I don't know.
All the things.
No, bro.
Levels.
I'm gonna go a solid 2 ply.
I mean, think about before there was 2 ply.
Right.
They were living off of not 2 ply.
They were
Right,
leaves,
they were
man.
leaves.
The right
Exactly.
leaves though.
Grass.
No, so your question of like, how was I knew what I was going into. Plus, I had OGs like my bro Errol. My sister studied history in college. My like a big sister Nikita, she studied sociology, and I was like, I kind of knew at that point. I mean, being black to an extent, being black in a space that's not black, that you can identify what the discipline is you just like kind of mastered by having some form of identity growing up in that. And for me, sociology, I wouldn't say it came easy, but what it did was help put language to an experience I already knew.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
And so I was levels just beyond my classmates because they're thinking about all this stuff just based off the definition, based off what the teacher's saying. And I'm like, I've seen bystander effect when we was getting in fights.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, I know what the self-fulfilling prophecy is. I see
Yeah.
that shit all the time in our community. You know, like, and being able to put language to, like I said, my experience. And then business economics was something that, like, I was like, man, I want to be able to couple sociology with this.
You're an old soul.
I'm old. So,
Yeah.
but that's okay. I was
No,
raised
no,
around a lot
that's
of.
dope.
I was raised around a lot of people that are older than me. So like I said, my sister. I was with her friends a lot. Elders are always like I grew up practicing Kwanzaa, and I know that there's like controversy around like Kwanzaa and Dr. Karanga, and that's real.
But your family did
but-
Kwanzaa the way your family did Kwanzaa.
And in our community, like Miss Vicky, like Seattle, people don't know this, but Seattle has a community that's been practicing Kwanzaa for over 2 decades, consistently every year, not missing a mark.
Where do you go for it?
Life Enrichment Bookstore. It was
Okay.
at Tree House, but for the last number of years, it's been at Life Enrichment Bookstore. December
been telling
26th
Okay, I'll be
through
there.
December 31st.
Yep.
You celebrate Imani, the last day, which is faith, on the first of the year with your family. I can go
Okay.
through the whole gamut,
Okay.
you know, and that's just look.
We gotta bring him back to talk about Kwanzaa.
We should. We will.
Christmas special.
No, Kwanzaa special.
The Kwanzaa special.
Yeah.
First fruits.
Because nobody here even celebrates Christmas. None of these white people even celebrate.
White people don't even like Christmas is some weird shit. When you think about like take
It's a day off
Jesus
to
out,
open
which
something.
Jesus like initially wasn't in it. You just talk about like the oh my
God.
goodness, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a consumer's holiday. They all are. But
And
you
that's
know.
what holidays.
Not Kwanzaa though.
Kwanzaa, nah. And you know what's funny is that like people people, it's so weird how people will like latch on to their ignorance. Like they'll acknowledge they don't know and still form their conception based on their lack of knowledge. So I don't know what Kwanzaa is, but ain't that some like Black Christmas?
Yeah.
Like you just said you don't know what it is. Why are you saying it's Black Christmas? Do you know what Christmas is? You know what Black is?
Yeah.
In the first place, Kwanzaa has nothing to do with that. It's I will acknowledge there are some problems with Dr. Karenga, who participated as a FBI informant during COINTELPRO and had a shootout with the Black Panthers. You should go and research that event yourself so you can have your own understanding of that situation.
But did he do Kwanzaa before or after that?
It was in the late 60s. This was and this is less about him.
Okay.
What I say is that the principles, and that's what I stand by. So
yes.
He had a shootout.
Yes.
He had a shootout there.
You told us all about it.
Go Google that. But that's what I'm saying. It's less about. But this is what I'm saying. This is the point though, and this is what I think the argument is. Less about him.
Yes.
More about the principles. No one's gonna say that Umoja, unity, Kujichagulia, creativity, Ujamaa, collective work and responsibility, Ujamaa, cooperative economics, Kuumba, creativity, Nia, purpose, and I switched Kuumba and Nia. Nia is the fifth day. And Imani, faith. You're not going to say those aren't seven pillars that if you value them and you guide your life based on faith, unity, creativity, self-determination, purpose, that's not going to do something for us. Like, so you, despite him, these principles hold weight.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And you wonder if it was in his idea.
You know what I'm saying?
It's probably his wife's.
Yeah, and there's probably a whole bunch of problematic people that we do stuff that they did.
Hell
I don't know who made
all the
joggers, but I'm sure they
damn
probably fucked up.
Exactly.
No, it's too true.
Okay, everybody look down.
So Rell, what do you teach at Rainier Beach?
So I don't teach. I have an organization along with a bunch of my friends. Shout out to Darzell, the Boo, Laura Wright, the homie Jordan Butler, Michaela Smith, and we got a whole clique. But we and a bunch of the young folk, Miriam, Zion, Ryan Kroon. There's a whole bunch. We created this organization, WABLOC, Washington Building Leaders of Change. We used to work with this other organization, and we were being very limited in how we could do the work. Right. And they were basically, telling us that they didn't think that we could do it ourselves. And there came a time when, the summer program we were running,
because the oppressed knows how to free us.
And the nonprofit industrial complex is so real, and that folks don't want to work themselves out of a job. If you're doing work that is serving a community, your mission should be to alleviate that community from the issue you're serving, not maintain it so that you can be CEO, or you can be executive director, or whatever.
Which is so.
And
growth should be the goal.
Growth and development of our neighborhood.
And being out of a job should be the goal.
Right.
We should do that.
Out of a job should be the goal.
And that's why intergenerational leadership is a part of what we WABLOC. We've been around for 2 years.
Yeah.
As an organization, we're doing Freedom School for 4 on our own dime. So at Rainier Beach during the school year, I work with teachers one-on-one. And so I'm actually more of a teacher coach, and so I work with incoming teachers. We get a lot of turnover at Rainier Beach because of the money coming in school.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying? They're underfunded all the time. So they're always hiring teachers in September, August, September, which is the last of the teachers to be chosen. And so we come in to fill that gap. And the
last job you want.
That's the last teachers that are available to take class. Yeah. And so the ultimate vision is to start a school, an education facility. Yeah. And that's my years down the line. And that's why it brings me to the music. Yeah. I'm trying to milk this game.
Yes, because they would rather have you rapping than educated.
Before the music, send us your book list so we can review
words. You want to read with me?
Yeah. Can we be a part of the Freedom School or something? Yeah.
I would love for y'all to come be a read aloud. Yeah. We have a read aloud, so there's an opportunity. So what we do every single day, 6 weeks, 5 days a week. Every morning we do this thing called Harambe. Okay. Harambe it's Kiswahili for Let's Pull Together. And what we do is for 30 minutes, we are remixing songs that got positive. We switch up words. So song, she got a dunk. Yeah. She got a dunk. She got a book. Go take a look. She got a book.
That's dope.
And we switch that up. We always bring in somebody from the community.
Let
This
us
week,
know.
from a janitor to a public servant, you know what I'm saying?
We
To
would love
read
to.
something. Yeah,
Yes. That's so
Hella
dope.
Black, Hella Seattle coming to
Right. That sounds amazing.
Oh, please, please, please.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I didn't mention that we had the opportunity for, like, we talked about grant writing earlier. These last couple of years, we've been learning how to write grants.
Yeah.
And we've been blessed to receive a lot of the grants that we've applied for. And it's not received like, oh, they're giving it to us. No. We spent time
Yes.
on this, getting the money part
It's
together.
work.
And so we recently received 2 deal grants, Department of Education and Early Learning, that's a city grant,
All right.
to expand our program at Beach and to also do a pilot at South Shore. And so we'll be serving about 130, 135
That's amazing.
Well, you know, if your kids at South Shore right now,
That's
down
so
there.
amazing.
Yeah, so
Yes.
K-8 at South Shore, and then incoming freshmen and then uprising sophomores at Beach.
So dope.
Whoa.
That's beautiful.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh my God! Did you come up with all this?
And I come up with all of it? Nah, I mean, because we don't come up with nothing ourselves,
Right.
really. You know, like everything's built on it. So CDF, the Children's Defense Fund, is a national nonprofit, and that's what I'm going to Tennessee for. We're taking a team down there to get trained into the curriculum. We get the curriculum. You can just give somebody a curriculum, like be a good educator, reduce brilliance in these young folks.
Yeah.
Like it takes, like you got to have it intuitively, you know. But all at the same time, you need some training. So no, I did not come up with all these things. A lot of this is built on the back of Black women,
Beautiful.
educators especially, organizers whose names we may not know. And Freedom Schools comes out of the Mississippi Summer, the 1964 Mississippi Summer Freedom Project,
Yeah.
where cats from SNCC, talking about Ella Jo Baker, she's like our grandmother. She's like the OG. Shout out to Ella Jo Baker, who was an organizer with SNCC, the SCLC.
Okay.
And it really was like it was bringing college kids down to the Mississippi Delta and teaching folk about the importance of reading, voter registration. That's a different kind of topic. You know what I'm saying?
Your path is beautiful.
So dope.
Your path is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, to have
Glory to God, universe.
Yeah.
We'll have to have gone in all the
Creation.
places that you've gone and
Oh,
met all the
yeah.
people that you've met at just 25. It just means a lot more is to come, which is very, very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Credit to all of you. Credit to everybody before me, because like
Yeah.
I'm 25. I'm really like I'm an example of what it looks like when a village raises.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Young and like that's why in a past life I must have been selfish. Because like this life, a lot of I
But
feel
you
like
do
me
it.
is for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for everyone else, you had to help change. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So I gotta balance that
I
with
see.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we
letting
do for
myself
ourselves.
be with
Free.
myself.
Yeah.
And
Real
was
be
just-
free.
So
Right.
I used to have absent R's. And
Okay.
So you ask my name and say I'm Joel.
Oh,
My
yes.
name's Joel. So when
In
you
your
say
speech.
Rell be free, it's actually a homonym. When you say it with absent R's, it's will be free. And that's very
Whoa.
purposeful.
Yeah.
That my name is Rell be free, because I want when people say my name, they're saying will be free.
Yeah.
And obviously, and like you definitely, I want people to think about. It's one thing for us to think about where we at, where we've been. I want people to also like be visioning about that future.
Yeah.
You know, and so like Wakanda ain't got to be so far. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like there's a Wakanda, probably like in your neighborhood right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Or right here.
If you are
In your brain.
you know what I'm saying? It
Right.
don't got to
Point to
be
it.
all that. And so that's very purposeful. I do things like with so much intention that no one will probably ever know. Like the.
But I
depth
mean, but
of
you
it.
didn't intentionally name yourself Rell.
No, I got named Jarrell
Yes.
after Jerry Lee Davis, my grandfather.
Nice.
He made it Jerry L.
Yeah. And I think I told you the first time I met you that my sister's name is Rell.
Oh, word?
Yeah. So so my grandmother's name is Sorella. My sister's name
That's
is also
a
Sorella.
beautiful name.
Yeah, it means
Sorella.
it's really beautiful. It means
Put that
sister.
in the
Oh.
It means
pocket.
sister.
What's up, sis?
Yeah. So Sorella
Shout
means
out to
sister,
Sorella.
and but we all call her Rell.
Mm-hmm.
We called her that my whole life. So the first time I met you, I was like, oh, that's the easiest name to remember ever.
Yeah. Can I ask y'all questions real quick?
Yeah.
And I'll start, and then y'all can share. What does your name mean, if you know? So Jarrell means spear ruler.
You throwing them?
I'm throwing spears. My mind. Nas said my mind is my modern day spear.
Yeah.
So I do not know this for a fact, but my mom told me at one point that Elena, or like a variation of that name, means balance, which I think is very funny
Oh,
because
it's
I'm
so
a Libra,
jazzy. It's
and the Libras are all about balance.
That is so you, Elena.
So I don't know if
And your
that's
name is
actually
very
really,
imbalanced,
really true.
though. The way it's spelled, the way it has an A at the beginning and an A at the end, that tall L. I can see that.
Yeah. So,
And you are very into balance.
Yeah. So I don't
balance
know.
us.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's true, but or maybe that's not. I don't know, but that's what I was told. So I thought it was funny.
Jasmine is a tea. It's a flower.
Yeah.
It's an incense.
But what is it? Does it has to have
It's
some
a
kind of
rice.
meaning?
I don't know. I've never looked up the meaning. I just know that it is all
Those
of these
things.
things. Yeah.
But when I think about that too, I think about Jasmine's really feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm saying, my friend Jasmine is really feminine. And then I think too about her name being very feminine. And
Yeah,
I think that,
yes.
you know, it's interesting to, you know, I feel like whenever Jasmine talks about her, like you know, overall essence, she speaks of femininity.
That's always been one of my favorite names. I don't know whether like it was just
Jasmine.
like I was crushing on girls in elementary school named Jasmine, but
Yeah.
I've always loved the name Jasmine.
Yeah. And then my name's go ahead, Jess.
I was going to say it means old world shrub or climbing plant that bears fragrant flowers.
Yeah.
Mm.
I can see all that. You're sturdy
Yeah.
and you smell good.
Yeah.
Very
Sturdy and
fragrant
feminine.
Yeah. No, it's so true. It's so true. It's so true. My name means well spoken. Yeah.
Says the radio host.
I know.
Right?
No, I very much feel like my name was meant for me. Yeah, so you means good, and la is to speak. And so just talk good. Talk that good. Well spoken.
Crazy. Do
It's
you
so-
know? So talk good, good speech, medu, netter. That's what the hieroglyphs were called by the Kemetic folk. So we say Egypt. That's the name that Europeans, the Greeks gave to it.
Yeah.
But they said Kemet. And there was no vowels in the Kemetic language. In the hieroglyphs, there was no vowels. So it's KMT. But medu netter, MDWNTR, meant good word, good speech.
Yeah.
And actually, we get the word good and God. Those words are actually, the etymology of both those words are very close. So God's speech, it literally like, and the basis of like the Ten Commandments and a lot of wisdom literature comes from what was written in the pyramids, and good speech. So
Oh, that's beautiful.
that means that, I mean, your name Eula is like damn near like God spoke.
Oh man, I mean, the God in me speaks. You know, a lot.
That's beautiful.
Y'all know it.
Yeah.
So good.
Listen, and I can't tell a lie if I wanted to.
I'm trying to make y'all bring me back up here.
Whenever.
You can come back up here.
Whenever.
It don't take much
seriously.
convincing.
Just
Don't
come
you
hang
worry
out
about it.
anytime. Oh my God.
You know,
sure.
it's so funny because I feel like I'm having this debate of like, we were going to have a discussion about black men, which I think is we really need to have. And another part of me says we could totally leave it here and we could have it later.
I think we should have it later.
And so we will.
Yeah.
And we
So
are so
that
grateful
part
for
two?
you, Rell.
Yes.
That's going to be
Word
part 2.
up.
We're going to talk about the absence of black men in this city.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This was so nice to introduce you to the folks and
Yes.
let them hear your work.
Thank
What's up,
you.
y'all?
Can you do some spoken word for us?
Let me speak words.
Well, I wanted to tell you something. You know,
Words.
there's the reality of the universe is it sent you on purpose because we recently decided that we wanted to be able to have a poet and an organizer on every episode. And we didn't, not every episode, once a month, excuse me. And in that, our goal was to be able to hear spoken word because it's very important that we hear our own voices, right, and the stories that we're telling. And then also it's really important that we understand the people who are changing our community the most, and we know how to get in contact and support those groups. And so, you know, hearing about, remind me the name of it. It's what block?
Wall block.
Wall
WABLOC.
WABLOC. Like the idea of wall block and the fact that you are a nonprofit, and so people can reach out to you and donate to your group. How could they do that?
So our fiscal sponsor is Seed, SEED, and you can donate to Seed and put wall block in the memo, or you can go to our website www.wa-bloc.org and click the donate button.
Beautiful. And so we want you guys to be able to do that, but also, so every month we're going to be bringing on a different organizer to say something about what they do and why it's important that we support them and that we really are aware of the people who are making change within our communities, because often we are saying, who is it? Where are they at? When's my next opportunity to vote?
Right.
I'm listening to a lot of NPR, but I don't know who's actually doing anything. People like Rell are doing it, and so we appreciate Wall Block and what they're doing as well. But then we also want to be able to hear these voices of people telling the most descriptive versions of their own lives, therefore our own world, right? And so that's going to be coming once a month, and you being here as our first guest back after we've been on hiatus, as well as a poet and organizer, was just 100,000% meant to be.
So
Yes.
dope.
So we would just love to hear whatever you felt comfortable delivering for us.
Yeah, for sure. On top of all of that, like I do organize with the Seattle People's Party, and so I'll plug this. One of the events that we're doing between Wall Block People's Party and No New Youth Jail. No New
You
Y'all know that.
We don't need it.
On June 11th from 6 to 8, we're hosting a debate between Nikita, moderated by young folk from the neighborhood, against Dow Constantine, who is the executive of King County, and who is obviously a fierce staunch advocate of the youth jail. $210 million plus that they're putting into that facility, while schools like Rainier Beach are still not being properly funded, while education is being cut from this new family and education plan. And so that event is on June 11th.
This is a debate.
This is going to be a debate, and Dow Constantine's punk ass better show up.
Is there a flyer for this?
There is a flyer for this.
Can
It's
you
on
send it to
Facebook.
us?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, I'm putting it in my calendar too, June 11th.
I would love to share
Word up.
something.
So I'm gonna spit a piece called "Incarcerated."
Okay.
They just want us locked up, incarcerated. They don't want us feeling freedom, incarceration. Shout out to my sisters who incarcerated, and shout out to my brothers who incarcerated. They saying hands up, don't shoot. Damn, but they still do. So I'm Gucci Mane screaming, stop the violence. I dropped CBSS on SBU to stop the silence. Never compromised, I promise. Since slavery was abolished, I've been getting knowledge. When I went to college, I was counting commas. Controversy cause they got new chains, calling it debt. Bet your whole life you'll be straining, paying it back. Lay with a strap, play with the map. Said they made slaves from scratch, just to scratch they back. That's fade to black. Hate in history is right here, presently gift rap. That's a fact. You hear that? Oh yeah, that's deja vu. They still saying hands up, don't shoot. Black face, blue suit, handcuffs on youth. No use, no proof. And so I'm still screaming CBSS in a country that'll treat us like the excess, the SSUSS. Social Security, United States of Slavery. They gave a chain to me, ain't no taming me or fading me. No room or home for bravery. Just wait and see what it was made to be. I promise you that is crazy. Be the manifested destiny, antiseptic recipes. Many men will rest in peace, and women have definitely been neglected and affected by the contract contracepted. Justice aborted, unity thwarted. They say that crime pays, niggas can't afford it. Instead, we spending billions sending children into cages while the media manipulates your fears through the pages. The cowboys and natives, the violence been creative, invading spaces, promoting displacement, folly forsaken. Ain't no breaks when your melanin accelerates. How do we force this nation off the course of Satan towards a place where the Lord is taking souls for saving? So we saying incarceration. They just want us locked up, incarcerated. They don't want us feeling freedom, incarceration. Shout out to my cutties who incarcerated, and shout out to the mamas who incarcerated one. Incarcerated.
That was dope.
Thank you.
I get loud.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rell. You guys, this is Rell Be Free. We are
Be
so lucky
free.
to
New
have
Growth,
you
go
today.
get that.
Please go get New Growth.
Spotify,
New Growth is spelled
Tidal, Apple Music.
Groth.
Yes,
New
please,
Moon coming
please.
June 13th. Got a
Ooh.
single. New Moon.
Okay, you guys, pay attention and really get on board, because this young man who is just perfect in every way is out here really making change in every direction.
Working on it.
And he's the kind of person we should be supporting in all facets of form. And see him live if you can, because he's worth looking at. All right, y'all. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
If you're interested in being interviewed on the show, want Elena to know about your restaurant, or Jazz to mention your event, reach out to us at hellablackhellaseattle@gmail.com. If you know of job opportunities where people are trying to hire more people of color and we can mention that on the show, reach out to us at hellablackhellaseattle@gmail.com. And lastly, if you'd like to use our platform for an ad for your space, event, or business, reach out to us at hellablackhellaseattle@gmail.com. Our episodes are recorded at Critical Sun Studios. Special thanks to Bubba Jones, our producer and editor, along with the creator of our theme music. We also want to give a special shout out to Victoria Snivment, the creator of our logo. For follow-up on anything that you've heard on the show, please check out our website, hellablackhellaseattle.com. And you can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at HellaBlackHellaSeattle, all one word.